5 3-pointers in the first quarter, but what can you say about his defense today, especially on that last possession against Anthony Edwards?
Yeah, it's great to have a player of his caliber, take defense to another level and take matchups personally. When your best players are your best defenders, it kind of sets a tone, for your team and in your locker room defensively. So he takes pride in individual matchups. So I did a great job of that tonight.
Joe, you guys went up 15, then the Timberwolves just kept fighting back. How impressed were you with your team's ability to sort of like, every time the Timberwolves made a run, it felt like you guys hit another shot just to say, like, keep an arm's length away, like that ability to bend, not break. Sort of.
Yeah, you just need to have the poise and the physicality. I mean, they test you every possession on both ends of the floor with their physicality, their rim protection, their ball pressure. And then they got dynamic guys that could score at any time. So you're going to go through runs. It's just a matter of how you handle them. And I thought our guys handled it well with the physicality on offense and our connectivity, our poise defensively.
Joe, how do you feel about the way you guys managed the game in the second half as they cut into that lead and, the kind of shots you guys were trying to force them into defensively? How did that kind of flow through the course of the game?
Yeah, it was good. We had 21-point third quarter. Obviously, Edwards got hot in the fourth. They got a little bit 32 in the fourth, but I liked our defense throughout the game. Get 2 25-point quarters against a team like this means you're doing something well.
And you've mostly let Jason go the full first quarter in most of the games this year. In a game like this, is it just a hot start from Jaylen? Like, what's that kind of trade-off like, making that decision in the first quarters?
It's a credit to their flexibility. You're able to go to different lineups, do different things, and so for the most part, we try to keep the consistency. But at the end of the day, you just got to be malleable and just take on what the game calls for. So they both do a great job of kind of being flexible in that.
Joe, it seemed like whenever you needed some kind of play, Derrick White was kind of there to make it. I mean, what does it say about him? Just, that Jaylen and Jason, everybody's capable of making plays, but he just keeps finding a way to make the big ones.
Yeah, no question. Sometimes it's handling, sometimes it's screening, sometimes it's defense, running that loose ball down or the outlet pass down. Just makes big-time plays. So I think he has a tendency to do that, but I think that's really the identity of like our team. Those guys is where people can make different type of plays at different times, and you can just have that trust and reliability.
It seems like there are a couple of plays in particular. First quarter, it ended up being Jaylen Brown's block, but he got the closeout on DiVincenzo
in the corner in front of their bench.
In the corner where he got the block. It seems like there were a few breakdowns that he just recognized. He processes it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say about his kind of just processing power of reading the game?
I mean, you remember that Indiana last year, second time we played Indiana at home, we had to take foul on Buddy Hield with 1 minute and 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And so he has an innate ability to process information quickly on the spot, and that's what makes him really good on both ends of the floor. And so he can make those bang-bang plays because he has full awareness of the details and what's going on around him.
How does that help you as a coach?
We can change things. Because of him, we're constantly changing matchups, coverages, situations, and so because of his ability to see it and communicate it, I think that's one of the great relationships that I have with him, but also with the team, is we see the game kind of similar and we're able to communicate things differently, which kind of have to do throughout different points of a game.
Jaylen had a rough shooting start to the season. Was it good to see him get a little hot early on, and then the flip side of that, did it feel like that almost negatively impacted you guys after he got so hot? I think you missed 11 straight shots after he made 5.
I don't know if it negatively impacted us. I mean, if you're going to ask me if we're going to be up, what were we up? 6 or 8 or something like that, I would take that in the first quarter against a team like that. But do you have to fight to have a rhythm for others? Yeah, at the same time. And what's cool is I think Jaylen recognized that. He was like, hey, I think he passed up another one. I went to him, and he was like, I just got to make sure we get our rhythm back as a team. And so it's great to have guys like him that you could do that, but also can point out where it wasn't a negative impact, but it was like, okay, we got to get our offensive rhythm and connectivity there. And I don't know if that was a direct correlation to the 11 in a row. Some of those were like wide open layups. Some of them were good shots, so I don't think it was a correlation to that, but I do think there's a rhythm component too, and he did a great job of balancing that in that quarter.
Yeah, earlier minutes for Xavier tonight. Just what was the thought process behind that shakeup?
Just more switching, ability to have more switching there. It's a credit to him. Luke was out, but Mimi and those guys, we just have to take advantage of the versatility that our bench provides versus different matchups, and have to be able to go to different stuff. And so it's key that those guys constantly stay ready, and now they all got to play their part, and they do a good job of that. Thanks.